First of all, happy Flag Day. I'm delighted to be able to be with all of you today, and I apologize for my croaky voice, but I'm pleased to welcome everyone as we announce the second cohort of Ascend West Virginia, which has become, in my view, and the view of most of those folks who are following this, the nation's premier talent attraction program that is enticing people from all corners of the globe, to discover our fabulous state. Ascend West Virginia's second class has a diverse background and will bring a wide array of students to its new community. Though the industries range from consulting to advertising to computer system design, they all have one thing in common: a shared love for the great outdoors. More than 3,600 people applied to join our Greenbrier Valley cohort, a number virtually equaling the population of Lewisburg itself, I might add. From that group, we chose 33 outstanding professionals from 19 different US states, including as far away as California, including the family members moving with our professionals. This will bring more than 60 new residents to the Greenbrier Valley. The program, which first launched very successfully in Morgantown, is working even better than we envisioned. In fact, we are now accepting applications for subsequent classes in Morgantown, the Eastern Panhandle, and the Greenbrier Valley. This program is a success because our state has people who are laser focused on innovative pathways to economic development. No one fits that description better than Brad Smith, co-founder of Wing to Wing and former executive chairman of Intuit. Even before his recent return home to West Virginia to lead Marshall University, Brad turned his gaze toward our state and saw great potential for growth in this remote work environment. He knew that for those professionals, West Virginia offers a breath of fresh air with fewer crowds and traffic, plus a higher quality of life. With support from Governor Jim Justice and other state leaders, Ascend West Virginia leverages West Virginia's outdoor assets and brings fresh talent to the Mountain State. So please welcome the people who made this possible: Brad and his wonderful wife, Elise Smith.
Thank you, Gordon. It's always wonderful to see you, my friend. I enjoy our day-to-day partnership and our collaboration that's gone over many years and continues many years into the future. My lovely wife, Elise, who's joining us from California today. And on behalf of both of us, the Wing to Wing Foundation and the broader Outdoor Economic Development Collaborative, we are so excited to celebrate the second class of Ascenders, as we call them. As Gordon just described, these are 33 amazing individuals who are coming with their families. They're coming from all corners of the state. And ultimately, we had 44 countries and 50 states send in applications for these 33 positions. So it just speaks to how powerful the program is and how enticing this amazing state is. I thought what we could do this morning is just set a little context around what Ascend West Virginia is designed to do. And then we'll talk a little bit about why we're excited about this class. And then we're going to hand it over to Dr. Twilley and to Secretary Ruby to share a little more about some of the individuals that you'll get a chance to hear from. If you recall, Ascend West Virginia, as Gordon just described, is what we consider to be the nation's premier remote workforce recruitment program. It was launched on April 12, 2021, which happened to be the 50th anniversary of the release of John Denver's iconic song, Country Roads. And really, this program is designed to attract those who are fully employed but are seeking a contemporary, experience-driven lifestyle to choose West Virginia as their forever home. And our ultimate aspiration is to invite 1,000 remote workers from all corners of the globe, plus their family members and friends, to choose West Virginia as their forever home. And the reason why we chose to do this is because this opportunity, this program, solves a strategic set of challenges by capitalizing on a secular opportunity. Those strategic challenges are historically, it's been difficult to attract large employers to move into a state when you're competing with all these other states offering tax breaks. So as a result, for many generations, our youth found the need to leave the state to pursue their career. But then comes remote work. Remote work was a trend that was alive and well before COVID. In fact, 1 out of 5 individuals in the United States already had permission to live anywhere they wanted in the US to do their job. But coming out of COVID, those numbers are pushing up closer to 40%. And many people have discovered the opportunities to live in a wonderful Hallmark-like community like West Virginia offers, while still being able to do the job of their choice with wherever their employer may be located. And so this opportunity today welcomes the next 33 individuals who, as Gordon described, comes to us from 19 different states and as far away as California, representing a breadth of industries. They're amazing individuals with great character, and they're going to come into our community in the Greenbrier Valley, help us get our community stronger, do their jobs, spend in our local small businesses, come up with new ideas, and strengthen our state and our economy. But perhaps the last point I will make is they will share their experiences with their friends. They'll share their experiences with their fellow employees. And that often attracts companies to say, I want to go where the talent is or where the talent wants to live. And that should bring the flywheel effect of employers saying, I want to open offices there. I want to figure out how I can recruit employees to come out of these universities in West Virginia and let them stay in West Virginia, but work for me. And that's what we're excited about with remote work. That's what we're excited about with Ascend to West Virginia. Elise, anything you want to add to that in terms of how excited we are today with the second class?
Well, I would just say that this is a time, particularly after COVID, where people just want to work where they play. And this is just such a great opportunity. And we are so excited to have all these new people coming into West Virginia. And I can't wait to meet all of them. Hey, I'm one of them. I'm coming from California just on Friday, and I'll be a part of the Great Ascend. So welcome everyone. We're truly excited, and we can't wait to see it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Elise. And with that, it is our pleasure to introduce Dr. Danny Twilley and Secretary Ruby, who will talk to you about the next part of today's session. Thank you.
Well, first, thank you all, Brad and Elise, for your vision and your care and love for West Virginia and your continued commitment to this program and to our great state and our institutions of higher ed. So I'm going to talk just a little bit today about the first kind of cohort that we brought in, just to make sure that we all are just, again, watching this trend. So what we saw in Morgantown was about over 7,500 applications. The response was so powerful and so strong. We actually had to stop receiving applications because it was so overwhelming, because people saw what we were offering. We're offering this idea of community, giving them a sense of purpose, and offering them a great opportunities to experience the wonderful outdoors. As a result, we received applications from all 50 states and more than 70 countries. We have, a less than 1% acceptance rates. We joke that we're harder to get into than Harvard in terms of a program. But really what it shows is the power of what this program offers in us as a state. When we take a look a little bit more details into the numbers, we're looking at about 23% of the Morgantown cohort was made up of those who have a deep connection. They were from West Virginia and they're returning home. And then 77% are now West Virginians by choice. And they're calling this their place to live. We accepted individuals from 21 states and also from Berlin. And one of the things that we found was that they're also bringing, families or significant others and partners. So in total, we're seeing about 110 people relocating just in this first cohort here. When we take a look at, this idea of community and purpose, this was kind of that hallmark of the program. That's that anchor. when people think about, it's a core human value, this idea of belonging. And so we've developed a comprehensive program to connect them to each other, connect them to the communities, and connect them to the state. So I just want to highlight a few things that they're doing. They're serving our community. The current Ascend Morgantown team is Morgantown Litter League. We're at the top of the charts, collecting litter, making our community beautiful. We're supporting local events through volunteering. We're going out and maintaining our brilliant trails together with support of great friends. We supported Over the Edge, a fundraiser for just a wonderful group. So they're really deeply engaged in supporting our community through their time and their talents. And then we also like to get out and have fun. We've organized ski trips. Paris Winfrey and his team has just done a wonderful job in terms of organizing our ski trips. They're winning trivia nights at our local pubs. And then we're also going out and spending time together through camp out weekends. And we're also doing a tour of part of our state so they understand the history, the values, and what it means to be a West Virginian. Secretary Ruby.
All right, thank you, Danny. I want to first start by thanking Brad, Elise, Dr. Gee, and the governor for allowing us to be a part of this. I've been privileged to be in this job at the Department of Tourism for about 5 years, and this is one of the most meaningful projects that we've been involved in. So I get the honor today of walking you through some stats on what's happening with the Greenbrier Valley class. So that's what today's announcement is about. We've got 33 new folks coming in. But before we really get into those details, I'm going to take a step back. So we had applications open for about 5 months. In those 5 months, we received just over 3,600 applications. For those of you who are not from West Virginia, to give you a little perspective, Lewisburg itself has just over 3,700 people. So we had almost as many people apply as our current residents of the city. The applications came from 50 states and 44 countries. And again, we saw that acceptance rate of just under 1%. So the class that's coming, we've got some of them on here today, but just as a really broad overview, the numbers are very similar proportionally to the Morgantown numbers. So we had about 15% of them who are West Virginia natives returning home. And then as Danny said, we've got 85% of them who are now West Virginians by choice. So they are coming from 19 states, and very similar to the Morgantown group, they're bringing families, friends, partners, spouses with them. So in total, these 33 people who have moved or are moving to Lewisburg over the next couple of months, they are bringing 61 new residents to the Greenbrier Valley. A little demographic information. If you look at the industries, when we first started this program, I think there was some thought that it would be mainly technology companies. But what we've really seen is a wide array of folks from all different industries. So we've got computer system design, advertising, management, scientific and technical services. It really is a broad array of different industries. If you look at educational attainment, more than half of them have an undergrad or master's degree. If you look at the types of companies, again, here you see a great variety. We've got Deloitte, KPMG, UC Berkeley, Cisco, Verizon, California Certified Organic Farmers. So really there's a little bit of everything here, and they make up a truly diverse group. You know, this program is focused on the great outdoors. So here are the activities that they enjoy doing. These are very similar to what we saw in Morgantown. These folks are coming to West Virginia because they want to be in the mountains. They want to be able to experience the great things that we have here in this place that we call home. So if you look at this list, you see camping, you see flat water sports, bicycling, whitewater, all the things that make West Virginia a great place to visit also make it a great place to live. The average salary for this group is just under $126,000. So these are really the statistics on it, but what I'd like to do is actually turn it over to Ryan King, who is the Ascend Greenbrier Valley Experience Coordinator, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself, how he ended up in West Virginia, and introduce you to 4 of our newest community members. So Ryan, it's all yours.
Chelsea, thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. As Chelsea said, my name is Ryan King, and I'm the Ascend Greenbrier Valley Experience Coordinator. A little on my background. I am West Virginia natives. My family has deep roots here in the state and in Greenbrier and Monroe counties. tracing back over 200 years. I'm a Marine Corps veteran of both the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And, you know, I heard it earlier, and it's one of those things where we leave the state, but West Virginians always want to come back. I was lucky enough to make my way back home and started a career supporting the outdoor economy in the state. I previously held positions in program management, and I was a senior business development officer at the Summit Bechdel Reserve before I transitioned into my current role with West Virginia University and Ascend West Virginia. What really drew me to this position and to the program is the ability to shape the future of our state through outdoor efforts within the OEDC, and then obviously within driving the incredible talent to the state through program like Ascend West Virginia. The startup culture that this program holds, that Dr. Twilley, Chelsea Ruby, West Virginia Tourism, and the entire WVU team espouse is absolutely second to none. It's a fast-paced culture. It's always changing, always evolving, and we can pivot on a dime. And it's really shows in all the work that we've done thus far. And I think the last reason that I really had interest in this position is because, you know, West Virginians are some of the best people on the planet. I'm excited to showcase our state and introduce the newest West Virginians to our state. I've been lucky enough to be, you know, deeply involved in the selection process, really from the start to the finish. I've had hands-on with nearly every applicant that we've had apply to Ascend Greenbrier Valley. And the folks that are with us today on this call are all incredibly talented and driven, successful, and I'm really proud to introduce them. So I'll be quick with introductions because I want them to tell you about themselves. But we have Mr. Ben Eisenberg. Ben is a serial entrepreneur, marketing guru, jack of all business trades. Ben comes to us from Maryland, is now a Lewisburg native. We've got Andrew Britt Neely, a West Virginia native, Greenbrier East High School graduate, Air Force veteran. He has worked everywhere from NASA to now Primer AI, which is a San Francisco-based artificial intelligence company. Miss Maggie Bloom, small business sales and marketing executive. She's helped folks all over the country managing their businesses and making them grow. She comes to us from Chicago. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Julio Castillo. Julio is a cartographer with the U.S. Department of Commerce. His role there in mapping is vital to help keep the shipping lanes open. And Julio comes to us from Baltimore. I could not be more excited to introduce you to our newest West Virginians. So here they are.
Ryan, let me ask each of our four new ascenders to join us. So if Ben, Andrew, Maggie, and Julio will turn on your videos, we were going to give you a virtual round of applause because everyone in West Virginia is celebrating you as our newest West Virginia citizens. And in your case, Andrew, welcoming you back home. I thought what we could do at this moment is get a chance to hear from each of them, but just to set some context, in West Virginia, one of our greatest qualities from my perspective is how humble our people and our culture happen to be. At the same time, that humility sometimes leads us to believe that others may not see the gifts in our state the way we see them. In fact, I said for many years when I lived in 10 states, if it wasn't for John Denver writing the song Country Roads or a movie made about us, no one would know our story because we're too humble to talk about it. Well, here we have four individuals who chose West Virginia out of all the choices they have in their world. And you could hear from their backgrounds, they're incredibly talented individuals with lots of opportunities. So we want to hear from them why they chose West Virginia. So if you don't mind, Maggie, I'm going to start with you first. And I'd love to ask you just to share a little bit about your background, tell us what you do, and then tell us why you chose West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm Maggie. I was born and raised in Chicago, and what I do for a living is I'm a sales executive at a software startup based out of Austin, Texas. But What drew me to West Virginia is I actually have an interesting story of I used to come here every summer for vacation to go to Clifftop, the music festival there with my mom. And I just remember having the best times coming here and being in the outdoors. I'm a flatlander from the Midwest, so seeing mountains and being able to kayak or things like that had just been so much fun. So I remember all those memories, and I want to be here as an adult in nature too.
Thank you, Maggie. This is why, by the way, it was a game changer for us when Secretary Ruby became a core part of this program early on. She knew the vision of tourism and remote work being intertwined. And I once referred to this as if you go to the mall and you go outside of Chick-fil-A and they have the little sample with a toothpick and a piece of chicken. You have that little bite of chicken. Next thing you know, you want to order the full meal. Well, Maggie is back to order the full meal. And it's because of Secretary Ruby and some of the amazing experiences our tourism department's created. Thank you for that. Julio, let's go to you, my friend. Tell me a little bit about you, what you do for a living, and why you chose West Virginia.
Sure, thanks, Brad. Like Ryan said, I'm currently a cartographer with the Department of Commerce, and being able to work from home after the pandemic, this kind of freed me up to experience new cultures, new areas, which is kind of like how I got to know West Virginia initially. It was at a camping trip that I did for my birthday once in Upper Tract, West Virginia, which was 4 hours away from where I lived at the time, and no cell service. But I had the most wonderful weekend in Smokehold Canyon, seeing the beautiful rivers and mountains and hiking trails. And since then, I've been able to visit peripherally in Harper's Ferry. And when I saw this program, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to kind of take a leap of faith, and something that I saw a lot of promise in. And I've been nothing but pleasantly surprised with the hidden gem that the Greenbrier Valley is. I've talked to several of my cohort members so far, and we've all kind of come back to the same conclusion that we've gotten really lucky, and that it's really like a paradise in the middle of the Greenbrier Valley in West Virginia that we've stumbled upon, because there's so much good history that I like to read into. There's a lot of culture in Lewisburg, and there's a lot of good restaurants as well, which is definitely a plus for a lot of us. So I'm really happy with everything so far, and I look forward to the next year in Lewisburg.
That's fantastic, Julio. You just touched on something that makes this program unique from the other programs that are happening across the country. Many of these other programs offer one destination, the name of their city, and it's with remote. In our case, we offer regions, and they all have something very distinctive and different. We have the Morgantown region, which is a college town and atmosphere. We have the Greenbrier Valley region, which is more about the outdoor activities and the newest National State Park. We have the Eastern Panhandle region, which has access to our nation's capital and more historic things. And all these are in West Virginia, where you can drive to any of them in a very short period of time. So I love how you painted that mosaic of historical as well as outdoors and this little slice of heaven. I think John Denver got it right, which was great. Ben, let's go to you, my friend. A little bit about you, what you do, and why West Virginia.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me this morning. So I think the biggest thing about me is travel is in my soul. It's what I love the most. I've been lucky enough to travel across most of this world, and my career has been in that, in travel. Our agency focuses on hospitality, tourism, and events, which has been a blessing. So everything with West Virginia tourism has definitely hit my ears, living in Maryland over the years and been able to visit the state. Saying that, when COVID hit, we probably, like everyone else, had some lemons. We had a bucket of lemons with tourism crashing and business crashing. And my wife and I looked at each other and said, we want to do something different. And we packed up, sold everything we owned, and bought a camper, which we had never driven or been in our lives. And we hit 42 states in about 12 months. It was an epic journey with a 10 and 12-year-old. Had a blast. But part of the idea was, where are we going to end up? And we definitely wanted some mountains. We lived in the Eastern Shore of Maryland. We liked living on the bay, but we definitely wanted some mountains in our life. My wife wanted a cultural element to where we were looking in a small town. We did 42 states, and we spent the last couple of months from Maine down to North Carolina, and we could not find a town. And we were really starting to get desperate on where we were going to end up. I always said it was the easiest decision to go on this road trip, and it was the hardest decision to stop, because we couldn't find anything we fell in love with. And we'll get more into it, but I got the call from Ascend. We had never even heard of Lewisburg. We came up here and fell in love instantly. 2 days later, put an offer in the house, and we couldn't be happier. My kids are into the community, and you'll probably ask this, but the folks we've met in this town are the nicest people I've ever met in my life. So we are quite happy to be here, and that doesn't even touch the outdoor activities and what drew us. It's just the culture here and the folks here are unbelievable.
Ben, you just humbled us. You had lots of opportunities. You literally shopped 44 different locations in the States, and you chose us. And I loved what you said. One of our ascenders from the original class in Morgantown was asked how they felt, and they said, I feel like I've been baptized in kindness. And what you just described in terms of the nicest people in the Greenbrier Valley in Lewisburg, we experience every day, which is wonderful. Thank you. It's great to have you. And Andrew, in your case, my friend, it is welcome home. And what's amazing is in West Virginia, we forget the role we've played in this nation's formation. You know, we mined the coal that forged the steel, that built the highways, that made this nation strong. We served our country. We actually put a man on the moon with the original rocket boys as depicted in October Sky. We had the hidden figures that brought that man safely back to Earth with the computational analyst. And in your case, you're all the above. You've served our nation. You are a rocket boy from NASA, and you have come back home. So why did you choose to come home, my friend?
Well, thank you for the question. You know, I don't think there was ever any doubt in my mind that I wanted to come back. I think that opportunity didn't become available until, you know, maybe a few years ago, or with the transition to a remote environment our country's seen. Having grown up here, I didn't realize how unique of an experience it was. I lacked the perspective. And then having left when I was 18, traveled, being in the military, living in Italy, living in Florida, traveling, I worked in national parks, gaining all that perspective, just cemented this idea in my mind that I wanted to return at some point when that was a possibility. And it happened to be that my work life, made it feasible. And then the program that you and Elise started also made it a possibility, and that aligning of the stars was something I took advantage of, and I'm thrilled to be here and be a part of it.
Andrew, we're happy to have you home. You make us proud. You and I share a story I had on my social media that I was a boy from a small hometown in West Virginia who spent 22 years dreaming of what was out there, and every day since looking for a way to come home. And like you, I'm living that next blessed chapter, which is amazing. So it's great to have you. Ben, go back to you for a minute. You started to touch on this. What was your first impression when you got here? You talked about the kindness in Lewisburg. Anything else strike you as, wow, I didn't expect that?
Well, we pulled in on probably 7, 8 o'clock at night on about December 28th. I think that was a week and a half after I got a call from Ryan with our camper to check out this town. And it was all decorated for Christmas. And my kids looked at me and said, this is like the town from It's a Wonderful Life. And so a 10-year-old and 12-year-old that have had in a 300-foot camper for a year waiting for their own room, they fell in love with it instantly. So that was our first opinion or kind of introduction to the town. Fast forward to June now and living through spring and getting on the river. It's just, I wake up every morning, walk outside. It's gorgeous. The fresh air, the activities. Ryan got us all out on the river a couple of weeks ago for Memorial Day. So that whole experience, I think, is great. Now, I will definitely double down on Julio. I am a big foodie, and part of my struggle with finding a small mountain town was good food, and we are not lacking here in Lewisburg and Greenbrier Valley by any means. So it's been a pure mixture. But I think from that first moment of we really wanted a community in a small town and felt that, that's kind of what hit us. And then the natural beauty just kind of doubled down on it.
I love it, Ben. Definitely awesome food options here, great people here, and it's a wonderful life. One of my absolute favorites. Someone said to me, West Virginia is like a Hallmark movie. And I love that because It's a Wonderful Life has that same sort of a symbolic feel. Maggie, what is on your bucket list, my friend? You are here now from the wonderful city of Chicago. You said you love the beaches when you're in Chicago. What's on your bucket list in West Virginia?
Yeah, I cannot wait to, hike in most of the areas around here. A little bit of what Ben talked about too is I find it so unbelievable that in 15 minutes you can get to the river, in 15 minutes you can get to, a hiking trail, you can get to the river trail. So definitely I've been on the All Trails app, marking off every single hike that I've done so far. So I can't wait to mark more of those off. And I'm so excited that the West Virginia State Fair is right down the road from me. So I am super excited to go to that this summer in August. Yeah, but those are two things on my bucket list this summer.
It's phenomenal. Excited to see you there at the State Fair. It'll be awesome.
Yep.
Julio, my friend, how did you hear about this program? How did you hear about Ascend West Virginia, and what is on your bucket list?
I actually heard about it, like just a friend casually sending me an article and said this is like a pretty cool program. And I knew somebody that was going to enroll in the O school and got admitted and was choosing to go to the osteopathic school in Lewisburg already. So I thought, hey, maybe let me look into this a little more closely and send in an application and see what happens. And then it was kind of a long wait because I guess I was early in the application process, but eventually got through, did my interviews, and it started getting more real and real. And so it's been a pretty cool path, but I'm really happy it worked out this way. And on my bucket list is actually I'm really excited for taking advantage of the winter sports opportunities. I'm a big snowboarder, so having snowshoe in Canaan Valley as a couple of options that are pretty nearby. I'm pretty excited and looking forward to that.
Fantastic. Andrew, I know this is home for you, coming back home. It's amazing. As you think about work-life balance, and that's a term that's been bounced around, and in COVID, I think we all got recalibrated in terms of what we wanted to do in this next chapter. How do you see this helping you change and shift how you spend your day or your weekends?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to think about it too hard because it's already happening. The immediate access to the outdoors is it's been amazing. I was living in Melbourne, Florida, which, it does have some outdoor activities, but it's something, you have to pack up the car, you have to drive, you have to invest the time and thought and planning that you don't here. And, and also having Ryan, plan these ideas and give us, options. We don't have to research. So it's a complete life change for me. And, the past 3 weekends, I've either spent on the river or biking on a river trail or, traveling around and seeing things where I might have otherwise been jamming on a computer. Still in the same apartment I was working from down in Melbourne. And so that's been amazing, truly. And, the other component there, I think, is the social element. Here in Lewisburg, it took me a second to get back in the swing of not being an anonymous face in a sea of other people, and making the effort to recognize people because they're going to recognize you when you're walking down. There's this true sense of community, and I didn't know that was lacking until I got back, and so it's all around been amazing.
Andrew, you just shared a story. It's the same realization I had when I came back. After living in lots of different places, I realized that most of the other places I live, the first thing they'd want to know is, what do you do for a living? Here they wanted to know, tell me what your name is, tell me where you're from, tell me about your family. That's just in the community and it's in the ethos. And it's wonderful that you also had that same realization. Ben, I would love to hear your perspective as a serial entrepreneur who has started 5 businesses. You don't let moss grow under your feet, but what has been your work-life balance realization as you've come back?
Well, I mean, for someone that lived in a camper and traveled around every 4 to 5 days moving, working from a picnic table at a campsite, life has become grand, being stable again and having good Wi-Fi. So that's definitely been a big component for me. Just my children getting back into rhythm and routine, and being able to go outside and to everyone's point, there's so many activities right outside your doorstep. But I actually want to take the second since you asked me to give a kudos to the team. For us as a family trying to decide what town we're going to move to, and it was this thought about, hey, we can pick anywhere. It just doesn't matter family or we didn't go to school there. It's kind of an interesting perspective to be in where you can pick where you want to live. We really had a hard time. And part of what is so amazing about this program was this community you're already connected to. And my hat's off to Ryan. From day one, I felt welcome. The day I was here looking at town, he came to meet me. We've had happy hours, rafting trips, played golf with Mike, one of the other senators, on Sunday. So it never skipped a beat moving into town. It felt like we were already home. And while this town's very warm and caring, it's definitely because of the way Ascend was created. And definitely for Ryan being our leader, kind of making it feel very comfortable. So I think that work-life balance, as I had after being alone for 14 months on the road, to have family and friends again, it's been pretty cool.
You know, Ben, those reflections mean a lot to Ryan, to the team, Danny Twilley, Chelsea Ruby. They have put so much care and attention into this program, so everyone gets the chance to see the true West Virginia and know how warm and welcoming we are. And it excites me because it goes even to the application process. For those that you saw that applied, that didn't, get selected, we made sure that every one of them won. And so they all received West Virginia wildflower seeds so they could plant West Virginia in their backyard. And then our friends at Rocket Mortgage offer a $3,500 deduction on a mortgage. And so we've had dozens of people choose to come to West Virginia, even if they weren't selected for the Ascend program, because we want everyone to enjoy this slice of almost heaven, which is amazing. And I appreciate you calling out the team because they do amazing work. I'm going to do a quick round robin and we'll wrap up. So I'll just ask you to share any closing thoughts about the program itself, how you're feeling, and what you're excited about. Anything you want to share? And I'm going to start first with you, Maggie.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have touched on, something I was surprised about was the friendliness of this community coming here. I think I've talked with some other ascenders that sometimes I have to carve out time in my day just to know if I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to start a conversation with someone that's going to take a little bit longer than it would in Chicago. So I am so thankful for that. And just, all around the community and the people that I've met here have been absolutely incredible. And I'm super excited to be here.
Great. And Julio, how about you, my friend?
I'd just like to echo what everyone's been saying, and especially I think Ben made the point where, like, if you really put in the effort to get to know your neighbors here and be friendly with people, it really does end up giving it back to you. So just looking forward to continuing that and seeing more of what the Greenbrier Valley has to offer. It's been great so far.
It's beautiful. Ben?
Just thank you. I've moved to this town and set up roots here. My 10 and 12-year-old love it. And I think we are, as a family, very grateful to be here. So we appreciate the opportunity.
It's fantastic. Andrew?
Yeah, I'm truly appreciative of the opportunity to do this, and to the Ascend team, but also to my fellow Ascenders here, and the four of us that are here, but also all the others that are currently in Lewisburg. They've also provided their own, we have our own sense of community within the group. We've met outside the context of Ascend sponsored meetings. We're, doing our own trips. Everyone that's participating is amazing, and they bring a sense of energy, to the environment that just adds a little something extra.
I love that. Each of you in your comments talked about others, and it's a spotlight on your character and your values. And one of my favorite words is Ubuntu. It's a Zulu word that means I am because we are. And you just embodied that when you talked about your fellow Ascenders. You talked about Ryan and Chelsea and Danny and everyone who's put this program together. And you talked about West Virginia and the communities and the people that have welcomed you. You've made us stronger. You've made us better. And we can't wait to see how you can help us tell our story and help grow the community and let people see the magic that West Virginia brings to everybody. So from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of all West Virginians in the Ascend program, thank you for choosing us. And at this moment, I'm going to hand it back over to my dear friend and colleague, President Gee, to close out.
Well, thank you very much. And again, I apologize. First of all, let me just say to the Ascenders, I'm an Ascender myself. Although I wasn't accepted into the program, I wish I would have been. But our forever home is in the Greenbrier Valley, and we're just actually moving into it right now. So I hope that doesn't cause any of you to move, but nonetheless, I'm grateful for what we saw today. Brad, Elise, Chelsea, Danny, all of our new friends. I was just inspired beyond belief by what I just heard, and I'm grateful that we have these new members of our West Virginia family with us. So I thank all of you. I've long believed that when we look beyond our state's challenges, we can find opportunities to ignite our economy, to develop world-class recreational infrastructure, and of course, expand our educational opportunities. This program, this Ascend West Virginia program, enables us to advance our state's assets. Rather than dwelling on the obstacles that exist, we are now ascending into our future in such a positive way. And through this program, we're embracing each of you, we're embracing innovation and engaging with those whose eyes are cast to the future. So we're all here together. Country Roads have brought all of us home in a different way, in a different context. But now we're here, and I'm grateful to have you with us, and I'm grateful to have this program. So thank you very much. Let's all celebrate.